There are many things you hear about livestock production and meat and poultry products that simply aren't true. Now the experts are giving you the true story. Few people realize that many universities offer degrees in animal and meat science. These scientists help ensure that the livestock we produce are healthy and high quality, and that the meat and poultry we eat is safe and nutritious. While these experts know a whole lot about meat, few Americans do. Recent polling has identified the top meat myths. What follows are the reactions and the facts from our nation's leading experts, who gathered at the annual meeting of the American Meat Science Association.
So Dr. Rains, consumers tell us they're worried about hormone use in poultry. Can you shed some light on this?
I don't know why it's an issue, because it's a non-issue. We're not allowed to use added growth hormones in poultry production in the U.S.
No, you said added growth hormones.
Supplemental, something that would complement naturally occurring hormones that's present in all chickens.
Oh, so why are consumers under this impression?
There's a lot of talk about it, and I think it's a broader issue with questions about animal agriculture, and people are advertising no hormones or hormone-free, which can't be possible anyway, but they're saying no added hormones in their poultry as a way to differentiate, even though nothing's different. If you ever notice on a label at the grocery store, and if you're reading a package of chicken, it'll say maybe no added growth hormones. But down in the tiny print at the bottom, it'll say federal law prohibits the use of added growth hormones in the United States.
Okay, but chickens have gotten bigger in recent years.
Yeah.
To what do we attribute that?
The primary reason, genetics. They have found better birds and bred them over time, and the birds have gotten bigger, and we've responded to different demands by creating meatier chickens through genetics.
So it's genetics and not hormones?
It's genetics and not hormones.
Okay, so really consumers don't need to worry about hormone use in poultry production at all?
Because it doesn't happen. That's right.
So Dr. Van Overbeck, you're a pork production expert, and consumers tell us that they're worried about hormone use in pork production. What are the facts about this?
That is an easy answer, and the answer is they shouldn't be worried because we don't use hormones in pork production.
Really? Well, where does this notion come from that hormones are used?
Well, we have seen improvements in leanness and increase in size or weight over the years, and so I'm sure their background says, okay, we've done those things, and so it has to be hormones. The truth is, improved genetics and improved nutrition and just simple management, we've been able to change those things just by using general production practices in the industry. So no hormones are used at all.
Wow, so when it comes to pork, no worry about hormones.
That is correct.
So Dr. Miller, you're a beef production expert, and consumers tell us that they're concerned about hormone use in beef production. Is this a natural practice?
Well, when you talk about a natural practice, I have to qualify a couple things. First of all, hormones in beef are a natural part of beef, and in our production systems, we do use estrogenic type compounds to help improve the growth of the animals. This allows us to provide consumers with beef that is a little bit lower in cost than normal production, because it allows the animals to grow very rapidly or more rapidly, and it shortens the production time. And for those that are interested in green and being very environmentally conscious, it also allows us to produce beef where these animals eat less corn and less grains. And so that's very important to us in the beef industry, that we are good with our, and as far as impact on the environment, but also be able to produce good quality beef that's going to be price, or have a good price point, affordable for consumers.
Is there such a thing as hormone-free beef?
There is actually not. The beef animal themselves produce hormones. They need hormones. Hormones are actually something that helps to regulate growth and a lot of activities in our body. And if they didn't have these hormones, they really wouldn't be able to grow and be normal animals. And so all beef has hormones, just like other protein sources. Pork, chicken, any of the protein sources are going to have some estrogen or some hormones because they're needed. They're a biological agent. They're natural to the biological system.
If you tested beef from cattle that are implanted with hormones and cattle that have never had hormones, what would the difference be in the estrogen level in the beef?
Well, first of all, you would find estrogen in both of them, but the animals that have been implanted with the estrogen have a slightly higher level. Now you say, what is slightly higher? Think about a football stadium.
Okay.
And I'm from Colorado originally, so I always think of Bronco Stadium. And the difference in untreated and treated beef is comparable to one blade of grass in Bronco Stadium. It's so small. The other thing you have to realize is that plant sources and plant foods also have estrogen. And soybean oil, eggs, tofu, products like that actually have very high levels. Cabbage. If you eat coleslaw, you're eating much more estrogen in serving a coleslaw than you would get in beef. And as humans, we actually produce hormones as well, these very similar hormones. And so you see that it's all part of biology and part of the animal system. So we always tell everybody, you don't have to worry about it because that hormone is already there. The other thing people don't realize is that the hormone in the beef, when you eat it and it goes into your digestive system, your body doesn't look at it as a hormone. It digests in the stomach and breaks down. And our bodies just look at it as a part of their feed source or food source, part of the nutrients that go into our body. So it's totally neutralized.
So Dr. Belk, consumers tell us that they're concerned that antibiotic use is increasing in livestock production. What are the facts?
I don't think that's true at all. I think antibiotic use is actually decreasing as the need arises for treating animal health issues declines, then we have less need for antibiotics.
Are antibiotics used to prevent disease?
Antibiotics are, generally speaking, used to prevent disease and or treat disease, and that's their primary uses.
And are residues a concern that we should be worried about?
Residues are a concern if the withdrawal period would not be adhered to by the producers using the antibiotics. But we have regulations in place by FDA and by the Food Safety Inspection Service to ensure that residues of antibiotics don't end up in meat products that are marketed. And the primary concern a consumer has with whether or not there's a residue of an antibiotic is if they would happen to have an allergic reaction to that particular compound.
So there is regulation of antibiotic use in livestock production.
Absolutely, they're heavily regulated, and to even get a new antibiotic approved for use in livestock production is a very rigorous and a hugely expensive long-term process.
So what do you think about consumers purchasing meat that says raised without antibiotics? Is it safer? Is it better?
I think if they make the decision to purchase that type of beef, it should be for the right reasons and not for the wrong reasons. It's important for consumers to know that there's no difference between those classes of production practices relative to the safety of the beef itself. All beef, no matter what production system it came through, is safe. The reason that a consumer might choose to purchase beef from a natural or a grass-fed program would be for other reasons that are important to them on a personal level, not necessarily on a safety level.
Well, are antibiotics ever used to promote the growth of the animal or improve the performance?
In instances, there are two classes of compounds that are used in livestock production to help the bacteria in the rumens of ruminant animals convert feed more efficiently into the acids that are used then by the animal for energy. And as a consequence of that, those two classes of antimicrobials that are approved for that use are never used in human medicine. And so we don't have to worry about those compounds creating an antibiotic resistance issue.